Hello. Hello everyone. It's Jared here from Crypto Plan. How are we all? Like the thumbnail says, this video is all about having a look at my watch list in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin miners, and the thing that I'm building right now, which is a portfolio of precious metals or commodities or, kind of things that are going to last the next few years after this little cryptocurrency run of 2021. So I'm getting in early on that and rolling some profits over from the Bitcoin miners. Now, if anyone's been watching my videos, I'm not calling the top, the local top in Bitcoin, but I'm saying that a correction is due. And I guess we're over here on charts.cointrader pro, and we can see that there's a potential structure forming. Whether this candle goes above or not, it's still going to be testing a top. It's up to the next one whether it kind of pulls back, comes lower, and I'll show you a bit clearer on this chart. If it does something like this where it goes up again, kind of similar, and then this low comes lower, and then it kind of zigzags its way down, potentially hits somewhere in that 19.4 range that I'm predicting. It's still a guess. And then it kind of wiggles its way out of there and accumulates again and heads on up for the next leg. So that's what I'm predicting for Bitcoin. I'm not really basing any trades on that. I'm just very eager to see what happens when Bitcoin does take this dip. Is it going to trigger a serious alt season, or is the market just going to then move generally with Bitcoin after that? So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but you can see over here on the watch list that I've got of the few kind of projects that I'm having a look at that Stellar has had a really good day. And if you look at what it's done since its last pump, it's done the 1, 2, 3 test to the upside, and then it's found its bottom. And then now it's done its accumulation, or appears to have done its accumulation, and then it's broken through this upper level of resistance. So whether or not it maintains that is up to Stellar, and it's up to the buyers beating the sellers, but it appears to have broken through. XRP is still in an accumulation phase. It's a bit laggard, but it has done the 1, 2, 3 tests to the upside, come down and found its bottom, and now it's just going to probably find 1, 2, 3. It can potentially dip back to that 17 cents again, so be prepared if you are a buyer of XRP. And I just want to quickly say, anybody that is buying into this FUD that has been going on around XRP and linking things up, watch these crew on the chain live, and in particular this roundtable. So this is the lawyer Johnny Deaton, who's fighting for everyone that owned XRP and that has seen the price dip a little bit more than it should have because of the SEC and their kind of, I guess, wrongful claim that XRP is a security. And I guess anyone that owns XRP would testify to the fact that they have no rights to anything that Ripple does, have no idea what Ripple does. They've bought it on a cryptocurrency exchange like any other cryptocurrency in the hope that it goes up, but knowing full well it can go to zero because it's cryptocurrency and it's volatile. Yeah, I mean that's all I'll say about that. But those crew in general on the chain live, they have got their finger on the pulse. That's where I'd go to get my fundamental knowledge. I'm just all about the charts and watching the world play out based on that fundamental knowledge. And you can see that fundamental knowledge, it probably should have dipped here, but then, went a bit lower. But I guess if we go back over here to our CoinTrader Pro and just take a look at, I guess, this potential idea of what XRP has done long term again. I've kind of portrayed this in my videos, and all I've done is drawn a line from that this kind of initial trading data through and tried to get as many touches as possible. So I've got that March touch and I've got the most recent touch. So it's showing me that it's not broken in the sense that long term it's in an uptrend. So it's at times it goes below this line and then at times it extends far away from this line. And then at the moment it's kind of coming to this intersection where we've had a bear market, we've had a reversal of a large uptrend, and we have followed this line. So as long as we keep seeing the higher lows, as in from March to now, and whatever it does next, that it doesn't go lower than this low, I think that means that XRP is still bullish. Like when you kind of zoom out like that, it's not so bad. When you zoom in on this structure and if you were somebody that bought in here and it's gone up and then down again, yeah, that's scary. But at least you weren't the person that bought in at $3 and has had to bear this 3 or 4 year bear market. So we're still in an uptrend from where we were in 2013 to where we were in 2017. We're up, so as a project, as a new currency. So it's still very early stages. This what is it? 5 years, 6 years, 7 years of data that we've got. It's just so new. So there's no need to panic with your XRP. I think if it doesn't perform that well in this alt season, just hold it. Like it will perform eventually. It has a use case. It's valid as a currency, as the speed of it, and people will use it, whether it's Ripple or somebody else. It'll get used because of what it is. That's enough about XRP. It's a buy. It's a buying opportunity right now. It's going to kind of hover around this line. Hopefully, it starts to use this line for support. So you've still probably got a couple of days to buy it at these levels before it shoots up. How much it shoots up, who knows? But I guess my next leg up price target is somewhere in the $3 range. Whether it gets there or not, I don't know. Only time will tell. Stellar, Cardano. So I have a little bit of investment in Cardano. It's not a massive investment. It's probably nearly my smallest at the moment in cryptocurrencies anyway. But once again, probably go back to the daily chart, and you can see that Cardano has since March been fairly bullish in general. So it's gone all the way up, had a correction, and then it's following this trend line fairly consistently. So I would expect that if you're looking to buy Cardano throughout, like accumulate throughout the bull market, which is a good thing, because if you dollar cost average in throughout the bull market, you're always going to be up. But just look to be buying when it's nearer to this green line as opposed to when it's nearer to this yellow line, because that's our kind of upward limit. So we could see it spike up as $1.14, $1.30, $1.60 even, and then kind of come back in this range and hit 24 cents and then head on out again. So just be aware that don't get excited on the way up. Be prepared for a pullback, and if it gets anywhere near this green line, and you can draw this yourself if you have trading view, that it probably will use this line for support throughout, and yeah, it's kind of because it's such a new project, that this could potentially be a long-term support line. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. VeChain, another breakout. So our 2.2 cent level has clearly been broken and tested, and then a third candle has stuck above it. So where are we sitting at 0.27 cents? So once again, if you are invested in VET, and it's a bit of a wider spread of these two lines of, the upper line of where it can reach. So this thing could, who knows, it could fire out as high as $1, 90 cents a dollar in the next weeks, but then it could potentially come back down to the 20 cent mark. So just be prepared for that. That if you've accumulated here, great. Don't be chasing it on the way up. Wait for it to pull back. These things can be quite volatile. So it can go all the way up and then come all the way back again. I don't see it, but just be aware that this is the trend that's been playing out. That since March, it's kind of hit this line a couple of times, bounced off it, come down and hit it here. So are we going to head on out there to like what over $1 and then kind of come back somewhere here at 45, 50 cents? Only time will tell on that, but just be prepared that if you're accumulating on the way up, that try and buy those dips, buy the corrections. Dash, extremely lagged. I love the idea of this project because its all-time high is up in the 1600. Right now it is $86, $89. So it's still got a large movement to the upside. So if you were to buy this right now, and I think I bought it at 100 thinking that was the local bottom, still got a large movement to the upside of 17x to the all-time high. Now, assuming it could break that all-time high, generally that's what happens in an alt season. It breaks its previous all-time high. Some things I like about Dash, that whether it's a privacy coin or not, it has a use case and it's fast, and it's being used in countries like Venezuela where their dollar has been devalued. So it has a real use case. It also has a very low coin count, as in I think it's only got 9 million coins, so supply is an issue there. So very, very interesting to see what happens with Dash, and the fact that it's being held back, I see that as a good thing. Some people want their projects to bust all the way out there, and initially I did in crypto. I wanted everything to happen instantly, but I think the tighter the spring is wound, the higher it pops, and it's just about actually catching it closer to the top. So just keep watching things like Dash. Like once again, you could still have a few more days to accumulate Dash at these levels. But yeah, once again, I think we've had that correction structure. So 1, 2, 3 up, and then found a bottom, accumulated along, then the next pump up, 1, 2, 3, and now it's kind of found its new local bottom. So however long it accumulates, but it's probably going to head on out of there, and it'll probably move fairly quick. You've seen in the past, like since January this year, it was down at 39, and it got all the way up to 153. So that's what is that? Maths off the top of my head. That's a 2.8x straight away there in a bear market. So in a bull market, could it go 6 times in a move? Probably. It could go that much in a couple of days. You've seen what Bitcoin's done in the last week or over Christmas and New Year. It has just gone parabolic. And what happens usually, altcoins follow that, but they follow it in their own time and when they're ready, when the market's ready. EOS, same deal. We've had a massive accumulation period. This one hasn't done, there's been no hype around EOS. I can't imagine. Like, it's kind of made its way up. It's really range bound. Guess if we just do some basic analysis on that right now, it's super range bound between these lines. So potentially it could come back down as low as 220. And what we really want to see is to fully confirm and break this 390 mark. So we're heading there at the moment. It's bullish at the moment for the last few days. But you can see there as well, which is a good thing, that it's up here at 2.7 and it's above this volume defined area. So 1, 2, and 3, it's kind of hitting around here. So once it clears and closes above this 2.9 $3 mark, it's probably going to hit a little bit more resistance at the 360 again. But then once it's out of there above this line, it's probably onwards and upwards out of there. Theta, I think this project is so amazing, and I so wish I had have found this earlier. For anyone that hasn't got into Theta yet, don't be afraid that it is in all-time highs, because that is a good thing. It just means that there is no resistance right now for it. This thing looks like, Facebook, or looks like what Tesla's done, or it looks like Google. It's just a growth stock. It's just up, retracement. A little cup and a handle. To play out a cup and a handle since the 26th of May to the 28th of August, and then fire up like that. So, so if we do that kind of quick cup and handle analysis, where's our price range? So if from the bottom of the cup up, so 180%, and then to see that it's already completed that again and some. So usually you would do from the bottom of the cup to the tip of the cup, and then from the lower of the handle upwards. So you can just see there that it probably was due to head somewhere around here, but it's just kind of played out another cupping pattern and then onwards and outwards there. So super bullish. I think it's definitely one that I will be rolling some of my projects into. If it continues to be bullish all the way through, and it's kind of seems to be following a similar bullishness to Bitcoin itself, if it continues through, like in the middle of an alt season, it's potentially something that I'd like to trade into while maybe some of the other altcoins are going sideways, because you can see here like how parabolic this was while everything else has been choppy. So if besides Ethereum, but even there, from 24th of November to the 24th of December, even Ethereum was choppy. But from the 24th of November through to December there, look how bullish Theta has been, and Zilliqa as well. Zilliqa's the same deal. So they're two coins that seem to be super bullish when everything else has been choppy. So, but they also seem to pull back when everything else takes a little run. But one good thing that I'm seeing now is that everything is in the green. So, and we've had that several occasions over the last few days, but it's just the wishy-washiness is coming out a little bit. But I guess the recent kind of little spike up again in Bitcoin tells me that everything's kind of following that again. Maybe people see Bitcoin go up and then they go and jump on and go buy some Bitcoin and something else, So who knows? Who knows how the people work? But the charts do tell us what is going on. So moving on down, ZRX, same deal again. Lots of accumulation. So the spring is being wound tight, but we do have these kind of two upper limit points. So looking at from where we are now, if we were to head to the upper edge of that line, that's a 4.5x. So once again, there's still plenty of bargains out there in the alt industry, in the altcoins. Not guaranteeing they'll all go there, but there's all-time highs. There's gaps between all-time highs in a lot of the coins still, and there's these kind of upward trends that are potentially to be followed. Zilliqa, I would probably not buy Zilliqa now, only because I had some and I put it into Theta, and I think you've got to back one or the other. You can't be looking at things doing well and going, well, I wish I had every bet come in and be a winner. So I guess I'm picking out of Theta and Zilliqa. I'm choosing Theta. I'm backing that horse, backing the kind of the streaming solution course, the one that Google's backing. If I was into stocks at the moment, and I guess if I had a spare 10K a couple of months ago, I would have bought as much Google stock at 1,300 as I possibly could have, but I didn't do that because I don't believe the gains are there. I believe that stock market is in a bubble or reaching a bubble at some point, and we're going to see reversal levels well below what they are today, so there'll be some bargains later on to be picked up. BAT, so I'm going to delete some of this stuff. This is the old analysis, but basically basic attention token, funny, same deal again. It gave us a really good run up. This coin is super bullish, as in it's got a use case. People are using it every day. It can be rewarded to people that use the Brave browser. But it just is still accumulating. So, and the fact that it's down the lower range of this accumulation zone that I've kind of mapped out there. Once again, where have we got to go for BAT? If we follow the upper bullish trend, it's a 3.5x. So, you could. It's not obscure to see some of these projects make these moves in a couple of days. Like bang, 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 like low market caps, a bit of money flows in, bang. Next thing you know, people are chasing them, and they're hitting their kind of upper ranges of their upward channels. Link, I just like to keep Link there because it had been so bullish. And I guess if you see same similar structure there to BAT, really big run since March. So I guess for me, I would have wanted to be in Link in the 3 to 5 range, not up here. Because you see if you chase this last pump, in anywhere from 7 to 18, you've had a long bearish trend to kind of deal with. So parabolic top, and then kind of a pullback, and then an accumulation, then another pullback. So I guess the same deal again. If you're into it and you just want to see the next leg up, then great. Where it will go, I don't know. We can only assume that Link could potentially go as far as it's been already from March. So if it were to play out this again, from here, let's say from there, we're looking at maybe $100 Link, $126 Link. That's possible, I guess. From where it is now at $18, it's not out of control, unpredictable in terms of percentage gains. It's an 11x, a 10x from here. So there's a lot of projects that would have a 10x in the next alt season, but I guess some of us are looking for more like 20 to 50 x's. So maybe Link's done its dash, and you had to be in back at the 5 range there, around this kind of accumulation level there, the early adopter phase. Litecoin, I think we've all kind of missed the boat there as far as percentage gain goes, but it's a leading altcoin. It's not doing as well as Ethereum, but it's close to its March highs. Retracement levels, or March retracement levels. So it's hit its May retracement level from May 18. It's still got this next leg up to go to 234, and then it's at all-time highs at 376. But not the worst investment. Still got some potential to all-time highs, but wouldn't be the highest on my list for ones that are ready to pop, because I think it has popped a bit. You can see that it's made a big jump since 87 up to 160 there, so it's lost half of its potential gain. OMG, I've put these ones on because they were available for trade on Revolut, so I was kind of interested to see if a factor like that plays into it, people being able to trade it on apps like Revolut. But I can't say anything necessarily, but it would be interesting when people who might have been looking at it in the background going, oh, shouldn't I? And then they see it pop up. Will they then jump in later, and will that kind of aid the volume? But anyway, you can see OMG once again, big pump. It's had 2 big pumps since March, 1, 2, and then it's pulled back a lot. So you've nearly been able to pick it back up from this accumulation level down here. But right now, maybe you've missed it again. It looks like it's heading out fairly bullishly. I don't like to see lots of green candles and then buy into that. I'd rather see it, is it going to hit 4.8 here and then come back again if I was going to buy into it? But I chose, out of all those coins that were put on Revolut, I think I bought ZRX there and some EOS. So OMG wasn't really high on the radar there. Tezos, what are we looking at there? So, there's so many similar patterns here, like we've had that August pump full retracement, very bearish, very sideways, so they're all due to pop at some point. When we don't know. Australian dollar, that's one I've got on the radar for some exchanges and currencies that I'm hoping to do very soon to bring some money from Australia. Back to our blockchain miners. So super, super bullish on these, crew. This, and for anyone that hasn't seen my earlier videos, like I started investing only in May, I think, and I was doing it through the Revolut app, and I was hopiuming and doing the worst job ever at buying stocks and selling them and thinking that I knew what I was doing, but I had absolutely zero clue. Anyway, I did things like bought NEO at $5 and sold at $6, and if anyone knows about NEO, it's gone to over 50. So, I think I had 45 shares of that and sold them thinking, oh, wow, I made €100 kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, after a while, I had bought and sold, and then I'd got into this following a particular YouTuber that was like saying workhorse is the next big thing. And it was good in the sense that it provided like profit on paper, as in you saw it there go up and then it went down and then up and down. And you're like, hold on a second, something's going on here, like there's some manipulation, or, this would be great for a swing trader. And so anyway, I decided one day that I said, I'm fed up with that game, like if everyone's into it and it's popular, then, the big investment banks are probably manipulating that and shorting and doing all that crazy stuff and causing people to buy in at the wrong time. And anyway, so I sold all my growth stocks. So I had like Lordstown Motors, and I had Lancandia Holdings, which is now Golden Nugget Casino, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And, what I thought was a good portfolio, but it just wasn't doing what I wanted to. And I felt I couldn't research the companies well enough. So then I was like, at the time I was getting into crypto, and I thought, well, I'm not going to buy Bitcoin because I didn't see that there, maybe there was a 10x at the most, from say 10,000 when I was first looking at it, to 100,000. It might have gone from 10 to 100,000. So there's a 10x there, or do I, get some of these things like XRP or Stellar or whatever it was that maybe could do a 20x or a 30x. So I was buying them cryptocurrencies, but I basically sold all my growth stocks and put them in Riot Blockchain, Marathon Patent Group, and Argo Blockchain. And that was the best thing I ever did, because it was kind of like, like betting on an industry, but not diversifying within an industry, not diversifying across industries, and it was kind of putting, 3 sales up and seeing how much of them would catch this breeze of cryptocurrency. And it's been an interesting journey, because Riot, Mara, and Argo have all done well at various times, opposite to each other, So it might be Argo blockchain does well one day on the stock exchange in London, and then the next day Riot does well and Mara doesn't do so well, and then the day after Mara does well, or, Riot and Mara do well, and, one does 50% one day and the other one does 38% the next day, So... And then the other beautiful thing about it was when, if your altcoins weren't doing well and Bitcoin was doing well, your Bitcoin miners were doing well. So that diversity within the cryptocurrency industry of having the miners and then an altcoin portfolio has kept me through and made me not so fearful, I guess, especially in recent times when XRP had dipped so drastically. That, a lot of people were selling their bags, freaking out. I was like, well, you know what? I'm so diversified within crypto that if XRP did go to zero, I would probably cover those losses and just use that as the one tax write-off to kind of not have to pay as much tax on something else, So that was the way I saw it, and that kind of got me through. And then the other thing, which I'll get to next, is it's given me this ability to take some profits along the way and roll them over into building this precious metals portfolio. So that's something that is super cool. And I'm actually way more excited about precious metals, because if you think that there's gains to be had in cryptocurrency stocks, coins, and cryptocurrency miners, which there is, there is 30, 50x's, sometimes 1000x or whatever. But in junior exploration mining companies, there is a lot more, and this super cycle that they're talking about in gold and silver and copper, there could be so many diamonds in the rough. So I'm hoping that I got a couple of them in the bag. But anyway, I'll share that with you shortly. But Riot blockchain, I think I have a cost basis somewhere around there in the 290s. So I think I started accumulating up here and bought all the way down and up again, and then I think I had a good couple of hundred of those stocks, and then have been selling along the way here, just like I say, to roll over into other things, just in case. I knew as being into chart analyst that there was this potential of at least this $6 mark. So when I was buying in at $2.90, we had that level, so we were going to double our money, fairly well. But then we had this kind of $43 mark, so this last parabolic top, so that's my target, and probably in the 30s, 35 is probably my next sell target, because I think I've kind of at least covered my initial expense on what I have cashed out already. So yeah, this 35 target, and then maybe hold a little bit and just see how far it goes. Like some people are saying up to here, 150, and I believe that, and if I sold my final quarter of my entire holdings up around there, I would be super happy, because that would just be the best play ever, that I kind of sold out all the way up the curve, and then didn't hang around for it to be retracing and trying to catch the next little pump up before it fully corrects like these things do. Mara is the one that I am most bullish on, but now once again we've got this kind of 28-30 target, which I think once again I'll sell out a large portion of it, just because I want to be doing other things with that capital. And I believe I can roll, the 10x from here over into something that will then 10x or 20x again. And then it's kind of like, a 2000x or whatever it is. But what I would love to see is, this 100 mark, and then even further. I think Mara, and from what they're doing in the news, are really doubling down on their Bitcoin miner investments. And they're also teaming up in some co-ops, so they're creating a bit of synergy, I believe, where they're sharing the power costs, sharing the rent of the building, but pooling with other miners and saying, well, if I put in X amount of petahash or gigahash or whatever it is, then I get X amount of the Bitcoin, minus costs kind of thing. So, and the potential is that combined computing power may be able to compete with the big super conglomerations in China that have got so much of the hash power. So hopefully that does a good thing for them, and we're probably not going to see the results of that until towards the end of the year. But I am super excited to see earnings for these crew, because I know that this particular earnings, even though they weren't profitable, had shown a massive increase in revenue. Now, if we start seeing beats on estimates and or actual profitability in these quarters, like, these stocks are going to absolutely go to the moon. So definitely going to hold a portion to earnings to see what happens, especially leading up to earnings. If there's a bit of hype around what might happen before earnings in Riot and Mara, and I think, so Riot's is in April and Mara is in March, I think. Yeah, so very interested to see what happens. But you can see here on the chart that there's not much resistance ahead. Once Mara gets out of this little accumulation patch here, the next move could potentially be up to this line in the 50s. So, and because it's been lagging, and I know it's caught up today, it's been lagging Riot. They were head-to-head there for a while, in the kind of 10 to 12 range, and then Riot's kind of pulled away again since. So Mara's playing catch-up every time, but when it does catch up, it generally goes above and beyond. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Mara take the lead very shortly. Argo blockchain, now this is the diamond in the rough that I wish I had have tripled down on in this area here, and I saw it. I think because my cost basis was so low in the fives, and I saw it there. I was like, oh, I don't want to buy into it and ruin my cost basis, but I should have. I should have like doubled down right then, because then my cost basis would have been 7, and then even from 7 upwards to where it's been today is like a 670%. But regardless of that, hooray for me, hooray for anyone that bought Argo blockchain, because it is the first one out of all these blockchain miners that I was accumulating for about 6 months ago that have done me 100x. So tap myself on the back, woohoo, and woohoo to anyone else. And the video I put out today, in the comments, there was a few people that had said that they got in and they're seeing some really good gains in their portfolio. So we're in price discovery with Argo. There is clear skies ahead. We're above this 49-cent line that I was kind of predicting from a doubling of the March bottom move. Now, I think a pound, £1.50, £2, who knows where it goes, like this thing will be as bullish as Bitcoin, and they just made 1.69 million pounds in a month. If they can make that every month, they're just going to be continually piling cash into their books. Then they release earnings, then the market just goes, wow, this is a profitable company. This is a profitable industry. Now, I know that it will reach a parabolic top, but from what I can see, if this is the trend line that it wants to follow, 49 now becomes our bottom level, a pound becomes our bottom level. It could potentially go as high as £5. Who knows, So once again, I'm going to be holding as much of that as I can. I'm kind of only selling any of my Riot, Mara or Argo based on if there's something better that I want to buy that I'm seeing is going to pop. So that's that. I haven't done a lot of analysis on Hive, but once again, if you were in that accumulation phase a while back, you're up 5 or 6 times. If you bought it in, March in the dips, you're up 20 times, So Hive has been another little diamond in the rough. I just couldn't actually buy Hive on Trading 212, so that is what it is. MGI, this is one that I missed the boat on, and I saw in here it was like 250 or something like that, and I was like, I should buy some, and I didn't. And let's have a look what happened since. If we bought it even at 330, it's now 1.62 times. So, there was a decent little move there that you could have put 100 into, 200 into, 300 into, and then seen it double or triple very quickly, and then sold it out, and rolled it over into something else. So, MoneyGram definitely got another couple of legs up. So one leg up, consolidation, another leg up, consolidation. It will follow the crypto market to an extent. I don't think it will go as parabolic as a Bitcoin miner, but, is what it is. Square, they own Bitcoin. They're on the list because they own Bitcoin. They're on the list because I like Square as a company and a business model. But look what it's done since March. Like how much higher can this stock go? How much of an inflated PE rating can this go? It may be a profitable business soon with all of its Bitcoin in its reserves, and all the sales and the profits of trading Bitcoin. But it's done a 6x since March. So can it double that again in the bull run of Bitcoin? I don't know. I don't think so. It doesn't really appear to be bullish, but MicroStrategy, on the other hand, probably could. I was playing MicroStrategy, but I tapped out because I got bored. I probably bored a bit early, but yeah, same deal again. Could it double that again? Yes, but for me, it wasn't the Bitcoin play. It wasn't the 10 bagger and 20 bagger. It was a 3 to 5 bagger, and it's showing that it is that. I'm going to take fuel cell energy off because that's not meant to be there anymore. FRMO Corp. So this is another one that invests in some Bitcoin mining. It invests in some altcoins. It invests in Bitcoin. So There's some volatility there. There's a clear accumulation pattern. So when there's an alt season, I think FRMO Corp will pop. So if you have a spare few dollars, it wouldn't be the worst, outside bet. Putting a 5% of your portfolio into it and just seeing what happens. But yeah, not one that I'm invested in. You can see here the amount of volume that's going on, and you can see here that there's no volume resistance. So definitely something that could pop. Definitely something that could pop. And then I've got a kind of a bag of like really tiny altcoins here. And these are the ones that you never know. You never know what they'll do. If one of them gets some attention, and I think this smart cash game, yeah, not enough real volume there. Factom, there's a lot of volume, like as in across the board, because this is a trading view calculated one. But I can't see that one, but I can see maybe this Steam coin doing something. Definitely. I can see that there's been that, it's kind of cupping around and it could potentially come on out. Lisk, I wouldn't be so bullish on that, but once again, there's a lot of room to its all-time high. Yeah, we've got a 100x to its all-time, into the extension, so to its all-time high, I think it's probably about 10x. But yeah, the one that I'm slightly playing is Peercoin. I think I've got a few videos on that, and that's where I put 100 Australian dollars in my Coinspot account and bought some Peercoin, and let's see what happens, and I think, looking at it I love looking at charts on the long-term trend and, seeing where they've been. So if it's been as high as $9 and it's down in 30 cents, like straight away you're like, if it hits that all-time high, it's a bagger, So let's do that kind of analysis again. So to all-time highs, we've got a 26x, and then to some of the, to full Fibonacci extension, we've got an 89x. So, what is it? I can turn $100 times by 89, so 8,900. So wouldn't be the worst little outside bet, like I don't think you get that on any dog or any horse at any track in the world. So if it comes in, it comes in. If not, like I think even selling half of it at the $9 mark is a potential. And I don't think, as a project of the thousands of projects out there, for the little bit of reading I've done on it, it's not dead in the water, there's still active participants and there is a use case there. It's just a matter of whether, people scroll down and see it moving and go, oh, I'll put a punt on that kind of thing, and it pushes it up. DNT, I had some good feedback on, I was asked to do some analysis on DNT, and so DNT apparently popped because of the Coinbase effect. It was listed on Coinbase, but you can see it's accumulating, it's tightening the spring, so who knows? It's had a good day today, 10%. Once again, like what's this move here? 8x, right? So it kind of looks nothing, but if it does 8x there, is the next move going to be a 16x? So you just never know with these particular projects, and when a whole bunch of people bet on the outside, and then people see it moving and people jump into it, then and it's listed on Coinbase, so it's possible, right? DOT, I was flirting with DOT for ages, and I had some, and everyone was like polka dot, and then I just, once again, like I say, I was sick of having so many little bags of altcoins that I put everything into Theta, and that's it. I'm just betting on Theta as my third or fourth biggest bag, and hoping to accumulate more throughout the bull market with any profits from other things that I consolidate. So, super bullish on Theta. But yeah, for anyone that, accumulated through here, right? DOT since August through to December had done nothing. It was fluctuating between $6 and $4 or $3.50 or $3.80. So, and then it's up to 10, so, what was that? If you got it anywhere in the middle of that accumulation, you were just double your money, bang, straight away in a couple of days. So I did see a little bit of YouTube hype there of like, oh, dot, 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 everyone's going dot, dot, dot. Down here, it's good to see Argo's been listed on the US OTC markets and it's doing well. People are buying into it, which is only going to help us that own it on the London Stock Exchange, because they will work together to pump up the price. And then, the Brave New Coin Index. So that is cryptocurrency analysis. That is my watch list. I am not invested in every one of those projects, but I am invested in a lot of them. Now I'm going to go through my portfolio. If you are Australian or you watch this and you're Australian, then I'll go through a few stocks that you can invest in Australia, but mainly they'll be stocks that you can buy on Trading 212 if you're with us in Europe, or the US. A lot of those stocks are US stocks. So I'll quickly go through the Australian ones. Auscan Group Holdings, they're in the cannabis industry, in the pain medication industry. Early run up because of hype and a new company not making any money, all about research. They get all the way down here, they're getting phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 medical approvals, and then right now the UN's just kind of put cannabis on its not so bad list. So you can see that pump there, but in general I think it's bottomed out, found a bottom, and then it's heading out. So very interested to see what that stock does, and I think I got in at 1.8 and to its all-time high. So we've got an 8x potential there. So I'm super excited about that. Auscan Holdings. We've done Riot and Marrow. We've done Argo. Linus Corporation, Rare Earths. I owned this stock years ago. I was at a mining conference and they were saying rare earth metals, so rare, and not that they're rare. They're so hard to extract and actually make, turn them into kind of the product that is needed, which is like magnets and stuff. But the reality is that they're needed in a lot of these solar farms, not solar farms, wind farms, electric cars, and mobile phones, and all this sort of these use cases. And the world naturally is going to need more of these products. So these particular rare earth metals companies can, like has happened here, when there was a crunch, when there was a shortage of the particular products, the price fluctuates in these particular stocks. So I think that is happening again. So if we're looking at here, and I think bought in somewhere there, so we're looking at 7x to all-time highs, and then maybe again, is it gonna squeeze onwards and outwards above that all-time highs? Who knows? But at least it's kind of a safe bet in the mining and commodities on these rare earth metals. So there is a few out there. There's another one down here that you can get on Trading 212, and you can see, and these are all monthly charts, remember. So if we go down to the daily, you can see that this rare element resources, and stupidly enough, once again, I think I had this and it wasn't moving in this zone here. I'd found a bottom, I bought it here and it wasn't moving in my time frame. Moved on out of there. But hey, you can't win them all, right? But you can see that there's some bullishness in these rare earth metal companies. This one is a reminder of me not doing enough research. So I bought this stock thinking, I've seen this go between 0.01 and 0.02 cents. Didn't do any more research, bought it kind of in a slumber, and it's just sat at 0.01 cent. But it is a coal company, it's a tin company. I think they're chasing some cobalt as well. So potential there in the commodities boom, and when coking coal is needed and blah blah blah, China, all that sort of stuff. Eventually, you'll see this share price appreciate. And what I do love is that I think it's very clear that the absolute bottom has been bought here. So buying down here, and for a long time, this is at the absolute bottom. There's no trading volume in it. So whatever happens in this stock, hopefully it is only up. They're either going to go bankrupt and it'll just sit there as a stock worth nothing, or until somebody comes and buys it as a shell company, or it's going to go upwards. And if it does go upwards, then I think I've decided I'm just going to hold. And If we can get that 32x to that all-time high there, then woohoo, I would be super happy. Hochschild Mining. Now, I am super bullish on these guys. London Stock Exchange, 250 top companies, mining company. I think they're not an explorer of gold and silver, but they let other people do all the legwork, and then they go, we'll have an option to buy that if you show good results. And then if they show good results, they buy in, and then they start a mine and they start mining. And I like them because they've got operating mines. They have a good balance between gold and silver. And I think the silver is the one that will make them the most profitable in the next bull run, because silver is the green metal. It's not only a precious metal, it's not only a currency, it's the green metal, and it is needed in mobile phones, it's needed in electric vehicles, and it's needed in solar panels. And the more the world wants to go green, and the Biden administration wants to go green, and if everyone's encouraged to get solar panels on the house, imagine that. The silver will be in such high demand. There's not enough silver out there, and if they are one of the players with gold and silver, they will do very well. And I can see that there's an easy 3x in Hochschild, and that's kind of my safe play in the mining stocks at the moment. This next one is my purely speculative but hopefully rewarding play, and I'm going to go onto the monthly chart for this because there's some targets there that I would love to see fulfilled. So KEFI Gold and Copper has found or are part owners of two major projects. One's in Saudi Arabia, one's in Ethiopia. Now, at a glance, that's scary. At a glance, people say don't invest in mining companies that are in uncharted territory. But these guys have, for this whole time, so since November 2010 all the way through, have been building relationships, have been proving the resources, have been finding out what's there, have been building relationships with governments and investors and people on the ground, so they are ready, and the stock has turned the corner, and you can see this, I've kind of copied this triangle here and mirrored it and kind of shortened it, and this is my prediction for the stock, that in January 24, the start of January 24, that it reaches that all-time high again. And the beautiful thing is that, if you're buying in now at these prices, that is a 87x. Now, it's a longer play, it's a longer hope and wait, but the main thing about it is that it's KEFI gold and copper. And if the copper deposit turns out to be as big as they hope it'll be, which is in the Arabian-Nubian Shield in Saudi Arabia, and I think they have at least a 50% ownership in it. And the fact that Saudi Arabia has money, and the people in Saudi Arabia that are investing it are going to put a lot of money into getting the mine up and quickly and running, and they are probably seeing that the oil price is going down, and they're going to be wanting to get into the next big thing, which is the gold and the copper that's in the ground there. KEFI Gold and Copper is one of the first on the ground. They have got the advantage, they've got the first mover advantage. So I believe that very, very soon, and you can see it's above the volume defined resistance of 1.65-ish there. Once it kind of breaks this 3 pence mark again, I think we're going to see some massive movements in it. So if you're into KEFI Gold and Copper, look into them, go to their website, do a bit of research. But, now's the time if you are looking to get into stocks like these, because if they make that next leg up, you've just lost a whole bunch of the profit, straight away from here, 2 to 6 cents is a 3x, So if you see it here, the rest of the run, let's go here, if you don't see it till 6 cents and then all the way up here, it's only a 26x. So it's gone from an 89x to a 26x. So, that's a quarter of the potential of what you can make, right? So that's KEFI Gold and Copper. Centamin. I like Centamin as well. I think it's slightly undervalued. I love the fact that it's had this big red dip. The market rejected it for a while, but it's kind of like what we're seeing a little bit in the crypto, where it's reaches a high, tries to reach another high, reaches it again, crashes, finds a bottom and then accumulates its way out of there. You think it's going out and then it comes back again, so it's kind of like, it's good to catch these ones at the end of that process, because sometimes you buy them here and it's not a bad price to have it here at the 97, right? But isn't it so much better to buy that 110 here, a little bit higher, but you're not having to go through this whole painful period of like nearly going up and then down, which was my experience with XRP. So sentiment, I think, is a buy. I think it's a really good buy-in point now. And it's going to be a steady grower. They've got a lot of different mines. They've got a lot of like ore being mined. I think they're a mid-tier producer, so they're doing well, and they will do well. Like anyone, they've suffered from COVID and the restrictions on being able to work. So that is what it is. And so yeah, the other good thing is that their yearly moving average is above their 3 yearly moving average. So they are bullish on all accounts. The volume is up. They've been close to the bull power zone, and they have turned the corner again. So very excited to see what happens in stocks like sentiment. Like, they're not on anyone's radar, but they're in a lot of the GD, the gold, what do you call it? The gold ETFs, the JDXJ or whatever it is. So definitely on a lot of the big boys' lists. Silver Bull Resources, silver is in the name. It will do well regardless of whether it actually produces silver, if the price of silver goes up, just because it's an explorer in the silver space. I've looked into it as well. I believe that they do have some good projects. They're just exploring them yet, so it's still unproven that, because they aren't actually making money by selling silver, but they're exploring silver, so they find a big find, somebody buys in with them, the stock goes up, they produce mines, and then 2 or 3 years' time, they're killing it, making the money, but for us, it's about the stock, and it's about having a look here of like, if I was to buy it today, and it got back to all-time highs, we've got a 63x, so accumulating a little bit of Silver Bull Resources. Once again, you can buy that on Trading 212. Hot Chili Limited back in the ASX. Massive play in the copper, like dedicated copper and gold, but mainly copper. 2 massive mines in Chile right near the coast. Could be like 500 million tons at like a fairly decent open pittable grade. And then with potential open pit mines, could be like in the top 10 deposits in the world, and moving into a market where copper is completely essential. I'm looking forward to accumulating this all the way to the top, and seeing there that, yeah, we've got a 15x to its local highs. But yeah, I just think that'll look like nothing. That 50 cent mark will look like nothing in 5 or 10 years time. Like we'll be up here in the $5 to $10. These crew will list on the London Stock Exchange. They'll probably try and list on the Toronto Stock Exchange as well. And big things will happen, because once they've proven their resource to be large, they'll have people throwing money at them. But to do that, they need to list on other stock exchanges. Mont Royal Resources. So I have bet on these crew because they are a streaming company, I think, or they are basically an investor in an exploration company to see whether or not some ground in Quebec has a lot amount of gold. So this particular exploration company that they've bought into this particular project, they have a 70% option on it. It is right next to another project where they found a massive vein of gold called the Elmer project or whatever like that. But it's in the James Bay region of Quebec. I think super bullish. Like, nothing's happening right now. We're just waiting for, drill results. When that happens, we don't know. But either way, it's in an area that is right next door to an area with a lot of gold. So it could potentially be something that springs out and becomes huge. Matador Mining, once again, good resource company in Australia with good drill results coming out. And the stock is playing out exactly the way it should. Big pump since March, retracement, and then found a bottom, and then it's kind of heading on out of there again. So still a good time to accumulate Matador mining, but do your own research. Castillo Copper, it's my second play in copper in Australia, third in total. So I've got kind of two and a half pure play copper stocks in the portfolio. Castillo Copper Limited, they've got 5 or 6 potential copper projects on the burner. So they're fairly aggressive in acquiring resources that have proved to have had copper and they were old, and bring them back up online, or greenfields exploration, but mainly in Australia and some internationally. So they've got a good diversity, whereas sometimes these other ones like Hot Chili, because it's only one big project, if there's a snag in that project, it can kind of hold up your investment for a while. But whereas this Castillo will probably do well because they're going to get one of these mines fired up fairly soon, and if not, they'll get the tailings of one of the old projects up fairly soon, and they'll start doing something with it and getting some copper out and generating some cash flow. Melody VR Group, this is the other industry that I've got my eye on, which is virtual reality streaming of concerts. So this could be a huge industry. This could take over the concert and event industry from what it is today, where rather than being 50,000 people at a gig, there's a 10,000 people, 1,000 people at a gig that get that intimate experience, and then the rest of the world is plugged in via their headsets. So that could be huge. I know they're backed by Live Nation. I know that there's a lot of big artists that are doing specifically virtual reality shows at the moment, especially during COVID. So I've got a small amount of stock in them, and I will accumulate as I see the market agreeing that they're bullish. Moving down to the silver stocks now, I'm so bullish on silver. Like First Majestic is one of the major players. You can see that had a good run up there. It's come back through this bearish trend through the last few years, with the silver price being depressed since March run up, and then these things, once they clear their most recent local highs, they're going to fly out of there and hit all-time highs, and then who knows what happens with the silver price is being predicted to kind of hit maybe 38.40 this year. And maybe more, maybe head back up to 50 again, and then it will do its next leg up. And I think I've got a cup and handle here. So I'll put it on the weekly chart, and this is my prediction for silver based on the weekly cup and handle. So basically, silver hasn't played like gold, like it does follow the price of gold, but in its long-term trend, it's seen in December 79, and that was after it was taken off the gold standard. Money was taken off the gold standard. Everyone realized how valuable silver was, so they were like, this is precious. It peaked at $50 an ounce, and it spent a long time coming around through this cup pattern. And then it kind of peaked again at 50 again in March 2011, along with gold in the gold bull run of 2011, where it peaked in 2011. And then we've seen this handle play out. And then since March, that cup handle has been broken. So I am so bullish on silver, like even more than cryptocurrencies, because it's tangible and it's real. And the fact that this accumulation has happened over since the 70s. And then the next leg up is this 13x again, but it's not about the 13x in silver and buying silver, but the fact of the matter is that if these companies that are pulling silver out of the ground, and $5 an ounce is their cost, all-in sustaining cost, and the cost right now is 29 for an ounce of silver, so they're making 5x for every ounce of silver they can pour. Imagine when it's 50, 100, 170 or 197, what these companies will be making cash on cash every quarter, and the dividends they'll pay back to you, So I'm super bullish on silver, and super bullish on silver. So First Majestic Silver anyway, we we love First Majestic Silver. We have it there, and we have a position in it just because it's kind of the most guaranteed play. From what I can see, they're producing silver right now. They'll produce silver all through the bull market. You know, they're going and they're selling off resources. Oh no, sorry, this is Mag Silver Corp. They are not producing yet. I've got to go back over to my portfolio list. So I lost me chain there. So First Majestic Silver, solid player, proven resources that are mining right now. Mag Silver potentially has one of the largest silver mines with the highest grade of ores in the entire world, in Mexico, in the kind of the silver hotspot of the world. And they'll come online. They're already processing some ore like 2 days a month. So they're generating cash flow right now. You can see that the charts are telling us that. The market is bullish on them, following the silver price, but that is nothing. This is when they're only making a bit of cash flow and it's all speculation. Once they show results that their plant is online and they're pumping hundreds of thousands of tons of ore through their mill, pouring gold, pouring silver, whatever else that comes out of it. They don't even need the gold and the zinc and the nickel and whatever else comes out of the ore, because it's all about silver for them, and they've got grades that are ridiculous. I think in the thousands of grams per ton, which is great for them. And the beauty of it is that they don't have a lot of employees, because they're an explorer with about 8 employees. So they have 40% of the project, and that's all cash to them. You know, they pay their 8 crew, and the rest of it can go into the balance sheet to find other project resources and or pay some dividends. So love Mag Silver. I am going to be adding to my position in them, but I've got a nice little base position formed at the moment in somewhere in the kind of $20 range. So happy with that. Yamana Gold, not a streamer of gold, but the same deal. Got a good diverse range of projects, undervalued, pretty much, you know, not completely undervalued, but compared to some of its peers, it hasn't done as much. It still had a good run up, but good time to buy in, you know, considering we're heading into a bull market. There's other things that I would love to buy more, but I can't because my broker doesn't have them. Trading 212. Gatos Silver, another regret. I have some of it, but I don't have enough of it, considering it's the biggest mover. I think if we go back to the 3-daily chart, what have we had, like 27, 8, 10, you know, so some huge growth in Gatos Silver, recent IPO, and maybe it's done a little bit of an early bubble and it'll come back. I'm hoping that it'll kind of fill one of these gaps. Maybe it'll come back and test this $9-10 range again, or buy in again, but maybe not. Maybe it won't. Even if it came back down to kind of 12, 13 there, I'd be happy to buy a little bit more. But yeah, I saw it sitting there and I bought some other things and I was like, oh, shouldn't I? And I didn't buy enough of it. So, but you know, what I did buy has doubled in price. So happy days for me, right? Happy days. I Am Gold, another kind of undervalued play. Lots of gold in the ground, not like a super mid-tier producer, but, you know, in the mix. They will be producing gold on a regular basis and selling it, and the gold price is going up. So I Am Gold heading into a bull market with the knowledge that there's these all-time highs all-time highs from 2011. So we've got that 22 price target. So where are we at now? 377. So if history repeats, and it's that cyclical stock that we love, you're looking at, what are we looking at from here? We are looking at a 4x. Is that right? No, from $3. Yeah, so a solid 4x, you know, and potentially you would like to think that it possibly exceeds its all-time high. But, you know, once again, it's a stock, and I'm building a portfolio so that in general, it all wins, So I don't mind if some are only a 2 to 3x and the other ones are, 100x, So it'll be good to eventually find the best bets and roll them all into the ones that are dividend paying and are looking like they've got solid long-term projects, like 20 to 30 years that I can hold some forever, and build that dividend paying portfolio of solid mining stocks. Koa mining, so it's another one that is on the radar but off the radar, but has a large price history and a large retracement since 1997 there. So if they can turn around and get anywhere back to their former glory in this next bull run, at a minimum, if they get back up to 60, you've got a 6x there from now. They have quite a few projects that are very close to producing gold, and if not producing gold right now, but do your own research. McEwen Mining, this is a real outside bet, but once again, you can see that there's a long way to the top if you want to get back to those March highs. So we're at $1, get it back up to 9, so it could be a 10x easily. It's probably the one I'm the least confident about, but the managing director, the McEwen guy, the name is on the company. He doesn't get paid in money, he gets paid in shares, so he has to make the company do well for him to actually benefit financially, which means that it's in his best interest for the share price to go up. They have a lot of smaller projects, but they will do well naturally in the bull market. Just depends on how well they do. So it's an outside bet. I have a small position in that. Gold minerals. This is one I'm super bullish on. I think this is like in the bull power zone. Got to get that RSI indicator back up. Relative strengths index. Where are you? Get out of there. Yeah, so if we have a look at this one, it's in the bull power zone on the monthly chart. It's well above the volume defined resistance, and it has, even if you bought in today, it has a 36x to play out to get back to its 2011 highs. So gold minerals, look into what they're doing, look into their projects, but you can see from the RSI perspective, full bear cup all the way through here for the last full bear cycle, and then peaking at the right time, I believe, so when these stocks break out, they break out big. And I'm just going to chuck my battery charger in, because otherwise I'm going to lose everyone. Didn't even realise I didn't have that battery charger in. Anyway, there we go. We're back online. Golden minerals, I love this one. I love this as a bet. I've got a fairly decent position in the gold and precious metals portfolio. Yeah, I like it. I just like it a lot. I like the fact that it's breaking out now at the right time while gold and silver are at the end of their accumulations, and they are breaking out of their accumulation channels, specifically silver. Turquoise Hill Resources, I've had a love-hate relationship with this. Initially I bought into this, then I sold out of it because there was so much drama with like who was funding the underground mine, and there seemed to be like notification on Google Alerts after Google Alert saying class action investors, and then I'm like, turn that noise off. Like, the reality is that Turquoise Hill has the third biggest copper deposit in the world. Yes, they've got some complications because they are working, Rio is the operator, so naturally there's a bit of complication there, and then there's the Mongolian government. But the reality is that everyone wants to get that copper out of the ground. How it gets there to be being mined, and it already is being mined in the open pit, but I think the major resource is underground. However they get there to getting that underground mine up and running, it's in everyone's best interest. It's in Rio's best interest because they are a dividend-paying company to their shareholders. It's targeting copper, so it's a key part of their portfolio. For Turquoise Hill, it's a key part of their portfolio. It's their baby. And for the Mongolian government, they're going to want to see the royalties out of that project as well. So you can see that Turquoise Hill, and it's had a little bit of a past. I think this big red candle here in September was when there was some dilution because of funding and having to raise more capital for the mine, so people freaked out. But it's rebounded since then. So, you're not getting it at the bottom, but you're getting it when the reversal's taken place. So if we draw that long-term trend line there, so we're kind of just about there, right? So we'll get confirmation in the next few days whether it busts through this line and uses it now for support instead of resistance, or does it come back again and give us another couple of buying opportunities. So I've got a little bit, and I'm waiting and seeing with Turquoise Hill Resources, but I think they're saying it'll have 100-year mine life. So for a long-term investment, accumulating Turquoise Hill would not be the silliest thing. But then there's others that say that there's better plays in copper, but that's why I've got several plays in copper, because I'd rather have a little bit in all of the market. Highcroft Mining, this is a SPAC, so it's like the weirdest chart ever. I was looking at it for ages going what's going on here? But that makes sense, it was a SPAC for ages, and then the SPAC bought the mine, which used to be called something else, but it's the Highcroft mine. So it's done what SPACs do, and it goes up and down and up and down and up and down. So as a swing trader, you would have had a ball flying through this, buy here and sell there, and buy here and sell there, and short it here. And so all that stuff was going on in SPACs, and that's why I stopped buying SPAC stocks, because they're spastic. But anyway, the long and the short of it is that now the market has realized that it is not worth $13 or $15 or even $8.64. You can now get it at the bargain basement price of $7.96, and this thing has a lot of silver, and it's open cuttable, so it's just shovel to truck. And I think that once they start releasing results of mine being processed, ore being processed, Highcroft Mining is a really, really good investment. Getting towards the end there now. Kodal Minerals, I am super bullish on this one, mainly because of its consistent accumulation patterns here. So we've got March, peaks up, accumulates down, peaks up, accumulates down, and then is it going to peak up again and do the next peak, So if this thing just steadily follows this line forever, I'm super happy, but I don't think it will. I think heading into the precious metals bull market, and I've got to say that slowly because it's a tongue twister, we're waiting and seeing, is it going to hit the line, bounce back again and then come up there, or is it going to bust through? Either way, I'm happy. I've accumulated enough to be happy either way. If it comes back down again, I'll buy some more. If it goes on out, I'll buy some more. Whatever. I like what the stock's doing, because since March it's been up. So it's a clear reversal. It's just not a confirmation reversal. And the other thing is that we're not anywhere near the bull power zone. But that can happen very quickly. It gives us another one of these 40% monthly candles. Bang, we're out of there. We're in the bull power zone. We're flying out of there. And once again, what have we got in the all-time high spectrum? We've got a 20x there. So I would like to see that. I'd like to see one of these smaller plays come through. And I think being, once again, in the London Stock Exchange, there is money in London at the moment. Money's coming back to London because of Brexit. I think that's one of the major reasons why Brexit happened, is so people could bring their money back to London and it won't be subject to EU regulations. A lot more investment's going to be happening in London. I'm seeing a lot of small Australian miners invest in the London Stock Exchange. A lot of Toronto miners will be trying to get some dollars there as well. So, yeah. And finally, the last one on my watch list and in my portfolio is kind of the diamond in the rough, maybe. Now, Northern Dynasty Minerals have a single project that once again could prove to be one large beast of a project, and it's in copper. And the world needs copper, so it's a good thing for the world to have copper for electric cars and the greening of the environment and electrification of the world. It's good for Alaska, where the mine is, as in it's going to create jobs. The Alaskan budget is in deficit, but the environmentalists are blocking it right now. So, and that's fair enough. They have every right to block it. But the fact of the matter is that they still own the mine. They've got it drilled out. They're ready to go. They know what they want to do. It's just the last hurdle. So, and because of that, the stock has tanked. And it's tanked back down here to where it was here. So people bought in here thinking, oh yeah, it's going to go out. They're going to get those permits. They didn't get the permits. They didn't get the permits, definitely. They definitely didn't get the permits, you know. So the investors got tired. The investors have got bored. I'm so stoked that I've found this one at this stage to build enough of a position that I can afford to lose, but enough of a position that if it does go to this all-time high and beyond, that we're sitting very pretty. You know, we've got a 50x there if it does achieve its goals and it proves itself, gets the permit, gets the big player to come and invest in the mine, and they share the costs and blah, 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 and the stocks don't get too diluted. Northern Dynasty is a super project. And yeah, so copper, gold, and a whole bunch of other stuff, even some of the rare earth magnet stuff. So yeah, a lot of good things could happen to this stock, but it could just be depressed for years and years to come. It's a politicized thing, as in Trump probably would have let it through or pushed to get it through. Maybe Biden won't be as friendly, but I think someone like Biden and his administration are going to want to do so many left-wing things that maybe something like this will eventually go through, because they're like, hey, we need some money, we need some taxes to actually pay for all these left-wing, you know, socialist ideals. And mining is one of those things, you know, like if you're getting tax revenue and you're getting royalty revenue into state government, and that some of that state tax goes back to the Fed, then woohoo, you know, that's a good thing, right? And it stops them having to buy copper overseas, which is what they do right now. So if they get this mine up and running, America becomes more profitable because Tesla doesn't need to get its copper from overseas, you know. So there's many positives for Northern Dynasty Minerals. But yeah, like I say, if it actually is going to ruin the environment, then I'm all for it not going ahead. But I think there's always a solution, you know. There's always a way that we can work with the environment to take these things out that are helping the world become greener, you know. Take away a few of those combustion engines and put in the electric vehicles, right? And the solar panels. We've been through all the crypto stocks, and I'm just going to end here on the last stock that I'm waiting to be able to purchase, and I hope that Trading 212 picks it up soon when they get on the major Canadian stock exchange or maybe on the US OTC market, is Next Tech AR Solutions. Now, I think this company is got so many good things going for it. COVID-19 or like the pandemic has aided virtual conferencing, so that's one of their markets. They're in virtual reality advertising, anything virtual reality or anything augmented reality. Next Tech AR is consuming startup tech and getting the technology to do it. They are in the bull zone. People want it. It's just like, it's so bullishly flagging there that like, I wish I could buy it right now, because I just think the next leg is going to pop and then I'm going to miss out on that level. But hey, do you know what? If it's like, you know, what is it, $5 now, and then like it's going to be like Google or something, or, you know, not even Google, like, I don't know, Microsoft or whoever you can compare it to, even if it's like any, you know, Zoom or something, you know, if it does as well as Zoom does, and you've seen what Zoom does, like thousands of % since March, buying in at $10 or $20 is still a good investment, because it might be going to $100 or $200 or $300 a share. So, yeah, I like Next Tech AR Solutions, and I can't wait to get my hands on some of it and start building a position into it throughout time, because I think there's a paradigm shift in the way events occur. There's a paradigm shift in the way we experience the world we live in. It won't be long. It'll be 10 or 20 years where you don't just have a TV on the wall. You have a family set of Oculus headsets and those bodysuits and whatever else, where you're living experiences all around the world in your living room. So that's a cool thing, like where ads are coming at you, where you're tasting and trying, the clothes on and whatever, like there's just a limitless possibilities with virtual reality and AR. So yeah, I like it. I like that stock. So definitely one to have on your watch list. And if you can buy it, then that's something that I would be looking into buying if I was you, because it's one of those trends, you got to be into trends and maybe trends before they're trends, like other ones I see, like these psychedelic drug companies, like people that have got medicinal kind of hallucinogens or whatever it is. And it's like, I can't see it. I'm not into it, but there's trends, right? There's trends out there, and are you early for the trend or late for the trend? I think with virtual reality and AR, it's like right bang on the money, like right now, this company and other companies will do it too. There's the Melody VR, just in the music industry. Good timing, it's good timing to be in there. And you can see that since March there, 70 cents up to $7. So 10x was there already, just on the small listing on the TSX. So imagine if it goes to the NYSE or the NASDAQ, like once you can get it on the NYSE or the NASDAQ, you're like, bang, this is like a $10 to $100 stock, so super duper cool, super duper exciting once it gets into high volume stock markets. And, naturally their business model is sound. And one more piece of news on Nextech AR is they have just bought $4 million worth of Bitcoin. So they're following that trend as well of going like, whatever money we do have, we want it to grow in the background with the price of Bitcoin. And that's cool as well. I like that they're on the cutting edge there. So that is it. I've gone a long time, but I've done this one because if anyone finds it, and sometimes like you try and cram a small amount into a video and show a bit of technical analysis, but I think hopefully like if you watch this again and you fast forward and you find the stock you like, you can go back to it and go, oh yeah, like this played out, or like I see what he did there, or I can see the same thing someone else did, but you'll notice that a lot of the time, and I think if we go back to, in particular, these crypto stocks, that we're looking at, these fan outs of trend lines. So if it's only going up, and that's fine, like we're never going to get the bottom again, but we've got these, we want it to, when it's hitting that line again all the way up, if we're accumulating, it's the best outcome, and that's dollar cost averaging in. Don't be buying in when it's hitting this green line on the top, because that's paying too much for it at the time, so that's, don't buy when it's oversold, not when it's overbought, right? And then that's why you have these RSI indicators down here, so that going back to the daily chart, you can see that, so when this red candle was here and the RSI was down, was a good buying day. But then this particular day up here, the 29th, when it had taken a run for a few days, was a bad buying day because it was at the top. But then 2 days later, when the RSI dipped, it would be a good buying day, like, so red candle, dip in the price, dip in the RSI, buy, green candle, spike in the RSI, probably not a buying day, but at the end of the day, if you buy here, eventually it's going to get back up to there. So it's not like your dollar cost average will be bad. It's just more, it's better to buy in a dip, because then your account never looks red, so it's like if you buy here, then it goes up, you've got a profit, and then you buy here, you raise your cost base, but it moves up again, so you're always kind of in the green, as opposed to kind of buying here, watch it go red for a bit, then go green, buying here, then it goes red for a bit, then goes green, so it's a psychological thing, right? So yeah, that if you can take away one thing, that's it. But other than that, please put something in the comments if you're interested in seeing anything be analysed. I do have more gold, silver and copper stocks on another watch list that I can't actually invest in, so I don't do a lot of analysis into them, but I do keep an ear out for stocks. I think like silver dollars, another one that I can't invest in, but I've got on a watch list, and there's many more of them, especially in the junior space on the TSX. So if you're interested in any more of them, I can kind of definitely put them in the comments. But other than that, it's been fun. My voice is nearly gone. I'm going to go have a rest. It's freezing cold here in Ireland. So I'm going to go rug up and go to bed and get ready for work tomorrow. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. So I'm going to say bye-bye. Thank you for the very, very few people that were listening, if any. But hopefully a few people get to watch this in playback. Bye for now.